I want to move on to the 60s a little bit because you also got adopted by Dean Martin's family, where a young Bobby Kennedy walked into the room one night.
Yes.
Can you tell us that story?
Oh, well, I used to play tennis with Dino and the Martins, and they were just a great family, and their house was always open to everybody, and I was relatively the same generation as their kids. And one night I knew I made the grade when I was invited to one of the parties, and the guest one of the principal guests was supposed to be John F. Kennedy, but something happened and he didn't arrive. But the whole Rat Pack, everybody was there, and Bobby was there. And Bobby, I guess I was the youngest one there or something, and he gravitated toward, he had so many kids and all that, he gravitated toward me, and we wound up dancing, and he kept talking about different things, and at the time I was fascinated with Mexico, and I was spending a lot of time learning Spanish and spending time in Mexico. And he said, well, why don't you spend the same amount of energy learning more about your own country? And I said, well, it's probably a good idea. And eventually, years later, when he was running for president, his campaign was being run by Pierre Salinger.
Oh, Pierre Salinger, yeah.
Yeah, so I asked Pierre, whom I knew, if there was something I could do that was worthwhile, not, some of the sort of silly stuff. And because I spoke Spanish, he put me with Charlie Evers, who was Medgar Evers' brother, John Lewis, and a couple of people from the it was a pretty from the Justice Department, and myself, and we would go up and down California, and the Black community and the Latino community were pretty much mixed up, so I would speak to the Latinos, and
that was the whole. He was connected to Cesar Chavez away, and was a hero of Cesar Chavez.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, and he was a very charismatic man. One of my best friends growing up was a junior at Georgetown University, and when Bobby decided to run for president, he just was so enamored with making Kennedy president, he dropped out of Georgetown, and Bobby was assassinated a month later. So his dreams were shattered on several levels for that.
Yeah, it was horrible. Crazy. Yeah, I was on my way to the Ambassador Hotel. I had my arm in. We had just been to Watts, and we had just spoken to everybody. We were all running down we were all traveling in a minivan, and so we were all going to be traveling down to the Ambassador Hotel, and I went. They dropped me home so I could change my clothes, and I remember having the television was on, and I had my arm in the sleeve of my coat when the screams happened.
Oh, Lord.
And I always think of myself in that position at that moment, and I don't think I put my arm down. I was so paralyzed by what was happening.